You know how many times I see like business gurus and influencers and stuff be like, you need to know what drives you. You need to know your mission. You need to know your values. You need to know all these like super far out vague things that don't mean anything to anybody that's not making like $5 million a month. And I think this paralyzes people. Well, I don't think you actually necessarily need like the exact goal. You don't need your mission. You don't need your values. Hell, you don't need your ideal customer persona. You just need to get started. Cool, man. So listen, I had this idea for the podcast. This may be out of left field.
I like it.
But I think it'd be cool to engage a little bit more with the viewers by doing some Q&A, responding to some of the comments that we were getting. And I also think, as somebody that's been doing this on my own daily updates channel for a while, that it's kind of like an algo hack. So if you want this podcast to grow really quickly, we incentivize people to leave comments on it. Comments are positive signals to the YouTube algo. And it just ends up being this knock-on effect where people see us answer questions from them, leave more questions, we grow faster, more people leave questions, and so on and so on and so forth. What do you think about
Dude, I'm sold on that. Let's do it.
You want to do some Q&A?
Dude, I'm ready to Q&A, man. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Give me one sec. I'm going to share my screen. And for the benefit of anybody that is not watching, but is listening, we're going to make sure to dictate everything that is being said. And I got kind of a cool idea here. I'm thinking we're just going to go back and forth. I'll answer one thing, then you answer the next, and then we'll just rinse and repeat.
Dude,
is that cool?
Dude, I'm ready. I'm ready for the Q&A. This is cool.
I am super excited as well. Well, let's start with, like, literally, because we've never done this Q&A before, the oldest comment we've ever gotten on the channel, and then just work our way up. And most of it's just going to be people shitting on you, Jack. Just constantly and brutally shitting on you.
Okay, well, dude, I've got a lot of experience responding to that stuff, so this is perfect.
Sounds good. First is from Vasif Stoic, who says, wow.
You want to take that one?
Well, thank you very much, Jack. And thank you very much, Vasif. Wow is indeed. Okay, $16947. This one's for you. He says, wow, but with a W-O-A-W.
Okay.
He says he dies for videos like this. Thanks for taking the time and putting out so many valuable insights and advice. Good luck. I'll be here for the journey. What do you think about that?
Very generous of you to share such a platitude. Very much appreciated, man. And we look forward to taking you on that journey with us. We will get a plaque with your name and profile photo when there's a physical location. I will not forget.
Just change the thumbnail to that little Pikachu icon.
I love that, dude. He's a man after my own heart. Pikachu, this is perfect.
Seband87 says, dude, bro. Liz, I'll obligatory take that. Are we saying dude and bro a little too often?
Not enough, in my opinion.
Okay, bro. I just wanted to clarify that, dude. Okay, Tim says, where's the link?
The link, it's a great question, is where you need it to be and never where you can find it.
It's a great question. One of the best questions. Huge question.
Dude, bro.
Dude, bros?
Dude, I thought that was a joke. I didn't realize there's some kind of theme I'm not getting here. Dude, bro.
Dude, I bet you if we exported the transcript of the last like 2 months of us talking, 90% of the density of the words would be dude and or
well,
bro.
What's an appropriate dude per minute ratio that we don't want to exceed? I think a dude every 90 seconds is fair.
Okay, yeah. So how many dudes is that per pod? If we're talking 45 minutes on average.
Probably 40 to 45 dudes per episode.
Okay, well, I'm thinking maybe if we like interspice that with some bros. Have you heard of man is a good one?
Yeah, well? I'm thinking we could do dude, bro, dude, man, bro, dude, something like that.
Up, down, left, right, A, B, start.
Yeah, spawn attack.
Still learning says, bros, you two are ballers. I'm kind of almost at your level, but yeah, let's be friends. Are you really almost at our level?
Dude, I'm still learning SF. I embrace that philosophy, dude.
Okay, how about this one? This one's for you, Jack. Preem Kumar says, keep these coming. Honestly, talk about anything and everything about AI, and we'll listen to it from all your dude bros out here looking up to you both for inspiration. We should have started doing this way earlier.
Dude, are we the Dude Bro podcast, dude? This is great. Dude, well, we appreciate that, dude. We will keep it coming, man. Actually, ironically, one of the founding factors behind this podcast was the fact that Nick and I recognized that if you just stick at the thing, it works eventually if you keep improving a little bit. And most podcasts never make it past episode 20. So, dude, we'll be yapping on about AI until we stop making sense, which should be in about 85 years. So then they'll have to wheel us off the YouTube channel, Nick. Have to wheel us out of here when we stop making sense. Maybe we'll stop making sense with this dude, bro, Bonanza. I don't know.
No. You hit the nail on the head. There's positive feedback loops in everything. And if you just stick to one thing for long enough, you will literally, I'm not big on the manifestation idea, But you'll basically manifest your own success. People are like, hey, does XYZ thing work? Is this niche saturated? It's like, dude, if you just like do it, you will unsaturate your corner of the niche eventually, given enough time and energy. And that's just how it works,
100%.
right?
Yeah, that's beautifully said, dude.
Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of these are people just talking about how awesome I am. So I'm just going to skip past most of these, and then maybe we'll answer some questions, huh? Okay, great podcast. Who are these guys? Says, it's Jack. You're
Who
really
is that
dog
guy?
treating the
Who is that
podcast,
guy?
man.
Yeah, I think I'm Jack. This is Nick. Thank you, Jack. What a great question.
Thank you, Michai. Thank you, Tekale. Okay, so check this out. This one's from me. The Mass Media Channel. Banger app feels like we might need a new term for scraping based on intent analysis versus training or something soon. That's a really interesting point. He's a creative based in Vancouver and considering relocating. Calgary's on the list of possibilities. What's making Nick think about moving from there? Just curious. Yeah, I mean, like, I moved from Vancouver to Calgary, and I did so a few years ago. And there were a couple reasons why, but the big one is it's just rainy as hell in Vancouver 24/7. Like, it's always just like freaking pouring, right? Calgary is the sunniest city in Canada. It's called like the Sun City, basically. It has some little marketing slogan. So over 300 days a year of sun. If I look outside, it is literally a perfect blue sky 99% of days. And despite the fact that it also routinely gets to negative, 30 C in the winter, I think that's a trade-off that I'm willing to make for now anyway. Okay, what else we seeing for questions here? I quickly realized that the vast majority of these are not questions. Apparently, OnlyFans will tank. Do you have a comment on that, Jack? As a prolific OnlyFan,
as a my homepage app, yeah, it's going down. Actually, yeah, well, the UK's started to require ID to check anything that's 18 years or older.
Jesus, and you would only know that being.
I only read about it, dude. I just read about it.
Okay, this one's something that we could comment on. Too much jargon.
Too much jargon. Yeah, fair feedback. We'll try and simplify.
Yeah, I think that's fair feedback. I'm noticing that I am using like not necessarily jargon, but like over technical terms that I think I get, but probably most people.
Yeah, it's good to get checked on that stuff. I agree. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. We got some Bitcoin spam. Sir Royton says this is the most realistic AI generated podcast so far.
I know, dude. Technology's coming along such leaps and bounds, dude. You wouldn't believe it.
Agreed. Okay. No, here we actually got a question. Let's check this out. This is an actual question, Jack.
The first question.
I'm pretty stoked. Aaron Miruzu, who's actually in Maker School, says, I have creativity, but very little skill at the moment. Do you have a course recommendation to start? And then which skill would you recommend?
I have creativity, but little skill at the moment. Do you have a course recommendation to start? It depends on what the outcome is, right? I think I'd frame out by saying that if you really want to win, you're always going to be developing new skills or improving ones that you already have. So I think there's a direction question, and you don't have to know whether it's perfectly, but you want to be directionally correct. So get the boat out the harbor, start doing something you think is interesting, and try and get a little bit better at it every day, and start stacking the skills. Would be my general kind of steer on that.
Yeah, well said. I love your point at the beginning, which was like, well, where are you going, right? You don't need to know exactly where you're going, but as long as you know like the general vague direction that you are going, I think that's probably the most important thing. So we would need some more context, I think, to like really totally answer that question. But the directionally correct thing is something I think about a lot. Like, you know how many times I see like business gurus and influencers and stuff be like, you need to know what drives you. You need to know your mission. You need to know your values. You need to know all these like super far out vague things that don't really mean anybody if you're not mean anything to anybody that's not making like $5 million a month before you even get started. And I think this paralyzes people.
Yeah.
So I don't think you actually necessarily need like the exact goal. You don't need your mission. You don't need your values. Hell, you don't need your ideal customer persona. You just need to get started. And so in that way, I would say probably the most general skill that ties all of them together is probably agency, if that even is a skill. Being comfortable with being uncertain is a really big thing. And I think if you can like cultivate the ability to act despite uncertainty, you can go really, really far. Okay, I think I'm just going to call it there. What do you say we do maybe like 5-10 minutes of this every
Dude, I'm sold.
That's reasonable?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
All right, cool. I think that's fun. You know,
it's my favorite thing to go through stuff like this, dude. I really enjoy going through questions like that. I think that's such a good idea, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. All right, what else do you want to do?
Shall we go through some of the sick AI news? I thought that there's some cool stuff we could look at directionally that some channels and I thought was really cool about like topics they go into, like My First Million, I thought was really cool. They've got some interesting ideas. So we can take it many directions. We can do some AI stuff. We can do some stuff that you and I personally might want to yap on in terms of like YouTube AI stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, how's that app of yours going? I mean, that landing page that you sent over to me was gorgeous, dude.
Oh, thank you, bro. That's very kind of you. I definitely went down a rabbit hole designing like it's actually interesting concept, guys. It's like it takes a lot of effort to make something really simple. And it's good. I think we've had to redesign the tech for a few different reasons, but we believe that it will technologically be ahead of the market leader like when it comes out, which is cool. We just got the affiliate program set up and launched as well. We are some interesting thoughts on a pricing strategy is that we're going to launch it with paid, like $12 a month to first 30 people, like friends and family, get some ruthless feedback. I was toying with the idea of it being free with the opportunity for them to upgrade because that's my signal of, hey, I like it so much, I now want to go and buy it, which is what I'd want to see. But we ended up veering for something simpler just to kind of test out. Because you can end up with so much billing complexity and different customers on 1,000 different plans. So all that to say, dude, yeah, it's going really, really well. Got the brand identity, hired a sound engineer for the little beep boops it's going to make when it loads up and stuff. They're blazingly fast progress on it, dude. Blazingly fast progress. I get a comment a day on what I'm using for voice dictation. So the inbound demand for it is insane already. So, dude, when I got to Nick, I was like, how would I feel if a voice dictation app sold for $800 million in 2 years? I'd be a little bit annoyed about that. So I was like, I need to get involved with it, man. So it'd be very cool.
That's sweet. You know, I was thinking just the other day about like what was one of the biggest like major impacts that I think you can make with as little effort as humanly possible. Not to discount the effort that you're putting in to build the app, but just like generationally speaking, like tripling the input bandwidth to computers is probably it. So like voice transcription for sure.
It is.
Getting the like specificity of text, which is really powerful, I think, and like how inflexible it is or whatever, but then also combining it with like an input medium that human beings are just way more used to, like talking. I think that's just huge. So since our last conversation, like a couple of weeks ago about like voice AI and stuff like that, I've gotten so much more used to using it. And I've just tried to force myself to everywhere that I'd otherwise type. Because I feel like it's just like, you know, the keyboard. It's just like learning QWERTY, right? Like if you don't like constantly readjust your fingers to the right freaking place, you never actually figure out how to type really fast. And for me, I was just like half into voice and then half into text. But I'm realizing if I really want to like absorb it, I need to go all into voice. And since I've done so, my community management times have dropped by like 30% because I've just been so much faster.
I agree. I mean, I took inspiration from what you said about you go through every single post. And when you can voice it, you can do that way easier. Like if you're typing, it takes so much longer. But actually, when you're doing anything community text, I don't really text anything, bro, anymore. I just talk.
Mm. When you send texts and stuff like that to me, are you on your phone texting or using like the voice equivalent app?
I will almost all, like 80% on mobile. It's roughly 60-70% voice. Depends where I'm at. But on desktop, it's always voice, unless it's I'm Googling something.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm even starting to like talk to ChatGPT more using voice, not like their call feature, because I think that's really bottlenecked, but then using like a higher intelligence model like GPT 4.5 while also just putting voice, like using it to dump all of my thoughts in.
Yeah.
That seems to be working.
Well, dude, just really interesting is this Sunday, there's a coffee shop I go to and they say, hey, no laptops on Sundays. And I said, okay, whatever. So I took this big ass, if you haven't got this is like the cheapest hack in the world. It's like an A3 sheet like this. And I took it with my pen and I just like, okay, I'm just going to think about crap, right? So I did that sort of stuff, which is really cool. And I had like all the stuff that I wanted to crush and work on. Dude, I actually completely forgotten where I was going to go with that trail of thought, actually. What were we talking about just before? Did the notepad
what kind of
set my
have, Jack? That's what the fans are wondering.
Where was I going with that? Yeah, just like what we're working on. Okay, yeah, that was it. Sorry, I'm weaving it back. I'm bringing it back. All right, so I actually, one of the things I did structurally is like I've organized these Claude projects for stuff. So like the re-input to context. So I've got one for YouTube and my community. So I've done a lot of work recently on avatars. and knowing your customer, that you would be, probably not you, but but you'd be blown away by how many people don't actually know who the hell their customer is. So I've spent a lot of time refining that question of who is my customer, and I've been asking questions now. And anyway, I've got loads of cool data, and I've got loads of really, really interesting data on content. And I've actually finally gotten around to putting it all into a system that I can now talk to and have conversations with, which is crazy because you always have pulls to do different things. But now it's just so much easier. It has all context on things like intros and like outliers, and helps you make sure the content is addressing the core need of your avatar. So I'm starting to build, one of my key workflows at the moment is actually projects pre-embedded with all the key context I want, that I can then talk about different things. And it's saving me a lot of time, and I'm finding it super valuable.
That's pretty cool. Way back in the day when I was running a 1-second copy, which for the benefit of people that don't know was my content writing company, we used GPT-3 before ChatGPT dropped. We would have a bunch of different like writing styles, and then we'd store those in sheets, and then the writers on our team would like come in and then use that to inject at the very top of the prompt some sort of stylistic information. Back then, the context window was 1,024 tokens or something like that. So it's much, much shorter than it is today, and obviously we were very limited in what we could do. But I find it interesting because I haven't even thought about doing that since, and I feel like that's just such a hack. Like, you have different modes for different things that you're talking about, different projects, I guess is the term for Anthropic, where you're solving a customer or a marketing problem. It's like you just put in all of your thoughts about marketing and all of your thoughts about that persona, or hell, maybe even some facts or whatnot, just to prime it. It's almost like fine tuning models, because that's something that we tried doing a fair bit as well back with 1-second copy, and we just didn't find it very successful. But it's almost like creating your own little fine tunes of it,
exactly,
that you can just then talk to, little personas.
And that's what I did. I preloaded it with loads of relevant data on what makes exceptional intros, what makes exceptional titles, persona stuff. So you can just conversationally get the stuff that you need. I mean, it's also like, what is the right stuff to ask? And like, I've never really got the outputs that are like, okay, grab it. It's usually like, choose that keyword of the podcast, not dude or bro, directionally correct, bro. You then go in and mold into stuff like that. So like, yeah, it's funny.
That's dope, man. I'm glad to hear that things are going well on that front. Stoked to see how that converts into just like higher bandwidth in general. Because, like it's almost like the voice AI to text thing, right? Like if you're typing at 50 words a minute and then you can voice AI it at 150 words a minute. It's like, well, you could voice AI at 150 words a minute, or you could like voice AI multiplied by AI to get out 1,500.
Well, they compound, right? It's like 4 times 4 type of thing. Like you 3x, 4x. So it's like, it's insane. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's really, it's like, it's, I hate how simple it is for how, I love simplicity, but like it's so funny. Like you can get really romantic about complexity, but in reality, sometimes just the basic thing, are you even talking to AI about the thing? Like most people are just not doing the basic thing. So yeah, I mean, it's actually ridiculous, bro.
Crazy overhang in my personal life. So I was trying to improve at running for the longest time. Probably like 4 or 5 months of just like banging my head against the wall, being unable to improve my 5K times, and also just like being on it.
What is your 5K time? Out of curiosity.
It's like 26 minutes right now. I haven't run faster than that. I could, but I don't want to. I don't want to like completely destroy myself. For some ephemeral sub 25 minute 5K.
Yeah.
But the only reason I can now is because, are you taking notes, Jack? You're kind of starting to scare me.
That's how it is, dude. I hate running. And like, I've been running a kilometer a day, and I have no idea for like reference, like if that time's good or not. So I'm trying to like mentally like figure out like what I could benchmark. I should freaking Google it, dude. But yeah.
But dude, here's the thing. So I just asked AI about it for the first time ever. I was like, hey, this is my current 5K time. For whatever reason, here's my heart rate data when I do the run, and here's just like a bunch of stuff. So I gave it to it. Just mute WhatsApp here. I gave up that information to it, and you know what it did? It gave me exactly what I needed to do to like beat 90% of people doing it. So it was like, oh, your cadence is really low. Like I literally just like exported a bunch of data from this Nike app into AI. And then it's like, oh, your cadence is really low. Try increasing your cadence by 15 steps a minute. And I was like, why? And then it just gave me a bunch of reasons why. I was like, well, how? And then it like gave me a bunch of steps out. I was like, all right. And then it was like, how fast are you breathing? Like, what's your breathing thing? 2 in, 2 out, 3 in, 3 out. Are you doing something else weird? And I was like, oh, I'm doing like 4 in, 4 out. And it's like, yeah, it's just pretty slow. Most people do, 3 in, 3 out, or 2 in, 2 out.
Like, Nick, is your audio still with us there, dude? I want to cut off this beautiful story. I just want to check your audio's.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, you're back.
Can you hear
You're
me now?
back. You're back. Okay. That crisp
No, that's
audio is
good.
back. Okay.
Probably
Sweet.
something
Yeah.
with WhatsApp. But yeah, anyway, to make a long story short, I just asked it all these questions about my running, and then it just gave me like a very simple defined roadmap to improve my cadence. And then I did. And then within a week of me implementing these changes, I went from being consistently at like 175 words per minute, 175 beats per minute heart rate, which to me is like really high zone. It's like my body's trying as hard as it possibly can to push through for like the entire run, to being like 135 to 145 heart rate for like 90% of the run.
What?
So it was like
and
the
same
subject
pace.
effort, dude, to require to like expend that and do that energy was like half probably. And now I'm capable of running like a 15K if I want to. Not that I do, because I don't really, want to train for endurance.
What did you change? You just did it more? Did it do it more?
Cadence was the big thing. So the more steps you take per unit time, the less vertical movement that you have, and the shorter the steps are, which results in you falling forward more than you like jumping from point to point, which is what most people normally do. And if you're constantly falling forward, it just naturally biomechanically forces your body to like put your step in like the perfect place for you to not waste a bunch of energy, which is really big. Most people will step not, they'll take way too long of a stride. And then when they step, what they're doing is their foot is landing like this. And then by doing so, you have reverse force coming from the ground, which literally just breaks you for no reason.
So biomechanical efficiency.
That was big. Hydration was very interesting as well. So it gave me a hydration guideline. It gave me like some feeding guidelines and stuff like that. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make, dude, is like I solved this problem of mine, which has been plaguing me my entire life. First time I joined cross country was when I was like 13 years old, and I just did it because I had a crush on the girl, and she's like recruiting for the cross country club.
That's why I started acting, dude. That's exactly why.
That's why I started everything, bro. But anyway, like literally my entire life, dude, in 15 minutes, I was able to solve this lifetime problem. So I'm wondering if people that are listening to this, or you have blind spots in some capacity where like you just have things that you've just written off and like, I can't do this, it's too hard, or I'm not for this, or my body isn't made for this, or I don't think like this. It's like, if you just take that and you prompt AI with it, just due to the flexible nature and like ability to do some information gathering, I bet you it could probably solve 80% of those problems and actually like illuminate chunks of your life that you thought you would never be able to accomplish. I
think that's so refreshing, Nick. I love that. And I think like a good framework for this, I personally use, maybe there's better frameworks, is I always start everything with desired outcome. And then I think a good question to ask is like, what am I missing? Like point holes, what could I potentially be I'm not aware of? Like you said, like your knowledge gaps, and then just freaking listen to it and do the thing. Dude, I love that. I must admit, I have applied the lens of ChatGPT to most things. I asked about my diet, like, what am I missing? Rate this diet, and I was like, how can I improve this? And that was really cool. I did it with taxes. I've done it with diet, relationships, strategy. To be fair, like, a dangerous amount of content probably, but I'm still the person making the decision. It's kind of just giving me information. So it's not running my life, but it is a mirror. It is a challenger. I think the strength of AI really is just how good are the questions you ask. And then actually also, how good are you implementing? Because it was Yo that it said to know and not do is the same as not knowing. So
absolutely. Kings throughout history have had advisors, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same sort of idea, I would say. Now, at some point, in many cases, these advisors get a little too smart for their own good. So they
start losing their heads as well, don't they? At some point, Nick, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, have you heard like the new like derogatory term for robots? Clankers.
Clankers. Dude, that is the best freaking term I ever. Like, no, I haven't heard that. Who's bringing that out?
Apparently, I don't know. There was like some meme where there's this like old white dude, and he's like sitting on at like the kitchen table, and it's like his daughter comes home with a boyfriend, and the boyfriend's like robot or something. Like, get that damn clanker out of here or something.
Get that clanker down, dude. So it's not even models; it's like physical.
Robots. Yeah. So I see that in the near term. I want to have a clanker telling me what to do. We're gonna go back to like 1960s style like segregation era racism.
I can't wait. I can't wait for that segregation against robots, dude.
You can't wait for that.
I can't wait for it. No, I mean, like, because it will take people have something to be angry about. Like, in a sense, like they'll stop feuding with each other and it'll be us against the robots. So
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it'll just displace
unify humanity.
It will. Yeah, I mean, like the classic example is you know, everyone has like different football teams in the UK, and they're like, I hate Chelsea, I love Liverpool. But when it's UK versus Spain, everybody unites. And so when we unite against the Clankers, it's like kind of like us versus them, like because we want an enemy to almost bestow all of our concerns and our problems, and we need somebody to blame and someone to attack. And I think the Clankers can fulfill that role for us.
Interesting. Yeah. It's either Spanish people or the Clankers.
Or the Clankers, yeah.
You UK guys. Huh?
Spanish Clankers. Maybe that's the key. I don't know. Like, yeah. I mean, well, you could also get the robots to like customize like what they're wearing with you as well, like fashion, accessorize them a little bit.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. I mean, like, I definitely would have mine doing like, yeah, I'd have mine doing like little freaking dances and shit. I'd be cool as fuck. It'd be really cool.
Dude, on the note about AI clankers and, you know, asking it relationship questions, now that we're moving to the news side of things, have you seen Croc's new update with its companions feature?
I haven't seen the companions feature, dude. No. Blow me away. Talk to me about it.
It's wild. It's like an anime waifu character inspired loosely based off of like some goth cutie girl dream.
What?
Whose name I don't remember. I think it's Annie or something. Who, you know how previously you talk to ChatGPT and it would just be like a little bubble, right? Be like, hey, how's it going? And the bubble would kind of like move up and down. You're talking about sound effects and UX and stuff. That's it. Well, now it's an actual character called Annie, who's like an anime chick who goes like, hey, how's it going? My name's this. How can I help you today? And like in the prompt, injected in the prompt is like, you're a jealous and controlling girlfriend.
Dude, I've just loaded it up. Some content may be sexual in nature.
Extremely sexual in nature. This thing is basically trying to get you to screw it constantly. It's wild. My buddy sent it over to me.
Hey,
and
you free this Friday?
It's currently listening to me now. But I wanted to just like show you guys how screwed up it's going to be.
Dude, when this shit gets in your toaster, dude, you are fried, bro.
You are so fried. Am I right?
Shit, dude. What the fuck? Yeah, because
check this out. Do you see this? It's a little anime waifu character. I don't know if my camera's like isolating.
Dude, she's freaking 3D. You fucking kidding me right now, dude?
Yeah, she's 3D. You can like tilt her around and stuff like that. They have a version for girls as well. I'm just like, what do you think is going to happen to relationships as a result of this, Jack? I'd be very curious to hear.
Well, this is a brilliant question, dude. Holy shit. Well, this is already happening. There was already a guy who basically he was in a marriage. He's like, she's great, she's fine. My true love is this ChatGPT thread, and they reached their limit and he got heartbroken, all that sort of stuff. So this is already happening, bro. Like, it's just kind of like, and character AI is really freaking big. So this is only going to get crazy. And then when you bring robotics into it, like the first thing people want to do is fuck it. Like, obviously, like that it won't be doing the dishes, put it that way, bro. People will want to be doing things with it 100%. So we've got, to tie this back to a adult topic of a non-graphical nature, is economically, we have a problem, which is like population decline. We have a sweltering, like aging population, and we need to support them. And one of the questions is like, you know, like it sounds like a joke, but that China two-child policy, the one-child policy thing was so freaking disastrous. You need to grow the guys at the bottom, support the guys at the top. Hence, by the way, I always personally believe in personal agency. It's why it's so good to do that stuff. But dude, it's gonna be a big problem. The big thing I also wonder about is like, will it? Because what do they call? Is it black pill? Is the we're done with women trend, right? Like the black pillars of the internet are like we are. The women are, you know, they move away from it. Like it gives people like. It scratches that kind of like maybe that emotional connection that they need, so they can actually build these relationships with AI. I mean, it's interesting, dude. It's very, very interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely enabling a portion of the population to just choose not to deal with the inconveniences of having another person in their life, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to say that that's going to be negative, you know, but I think that there's also probably large chunks of the population for which, like, they're just extraordinarily lonely all the time. And they're just, like, really, really suffering. And having something, even if it's really just a mirror into your own psyche, like we were talking about earlier, around to chat with might actually do them good. I don't know. It's tough for me to say right now. But I do worry about, like, increasing polarization due to stuff like social media. Basically at every step we've just like kind of wandered more and more into these isolated little echo chambers So with social media and like the really primitive algorithms that just like boost things that you find interesting and you spend more time watching. And typically the things that you find interesting and spend more time watching just happen to be the emotionally gripping things, like some dude getting punched in the face by some other dude, or some racial thing, or some class-based thing, right?
Yeah.
That turning us all into like literal political lunatics. Like if you, and you know that social media, you know that that's like something that's manufactured and it still has that impact on you. But what about when you evolve that into this companion bot that also has some similar biases? And now it's not even that like you know that it's something that's manufactured, you know that it's a product. It's almost like it supersedes that and you start thinking of it as like a trusted relationship.
It's
like
a beautiful question. Did I cut you off? Did you finish your thought, man? Sorry.
I mean, like, yeah, basically just I'm worried about it. I could see the positives in everybody having their AI companion. I could see the negatives as well. I don't know. I'm kind of curious if you had an AI companion and it was a chick and you didn't dress it up like make it all blonde and have a cute little skirt that's floral and whatever the fuck. And you were chatting with it. When does that become cheating on the person that you're dating?
Wow. Can you even cheat with something that isn't real?
It's sort of like
Emotional infidelity.
Yeah, emotional fidelity. It's kind of like pornography in that way as well. Like, can you
Yeah.
really cheat if it's pornography, for instance? But then at the same time, you are giving so much of yourself and kind of like your sexual energy is going towards
That's
this thing.
that's a great
So it's kind of the same
question.
thing, right?
Can you cheat with an AI girlfriend? Well, okay, we've got physical infidelity, financial infidelity, emotional infidelity. I guess in the same way that you probably wouldn't go and chat with the gal at the gym over coffee for 3 hours. Would you do that? But the thing is, it's not really a girl, so it's not a human. So I think I would suggest okay. Let's bring this down to reality. If it could like sexting is a thing that like happens on these websites, right? There's like places you can get to do that. If AI does that, is that cheating? It's kind of just like accessing prawn, isn't it? Like it's kind of like it's just a different level of that. So I don't know. I mean, like if you weren't talking to your gal, right, and you were just talking to, you know, Lindy AI, actually not Lindy AI, but like, I don't know, like Sarah AI, Lindy AI. If you're talking to Sarah AI, whoever it is, like, that was a pivot. So I don't know, dude, what do you think? Have you thought about this deeply? What do you think?
I think I'm trying to, because I was having a conversation with my buddy when he was telling me about it, and I was like, well, dude, like this is fucking unreal. Like, are you kidding? There's going to be generations of people ensnared by this thing. But then I was also just trying to like rectify, well, how different is that from what we currently already have? Like a big thing for women is
romance
erotic,
novels,
right? Like they read stories about, you know, falling in love with. And the reality is they always make the female characters in these stories just like the blandest, most easily superimposable girl ever. And then to some extent, women are like superimposing themselves onto those characters. And then they're reading all about how they got manhandled at the bar and how they had butterflies in their stomach looking at some dude. And like men do the same thing, just in the other direction, usually with visual and auditory stimuli, right? So it's like, I feel like at some extent, all of this has already been going on. And it's just like, at what point does a molehill become a mountain sort of problem, right? Like, at what point does this transition? There is no clear transition point, but it's a sliding scale. And with every step, we just get closer and closer to some form of either infidelity or just some form of like a new concept of what a relationship really means.
Yeah, I think this is probably the true with all cases of AI. It amplifies what currently exists. So whatever your perspective is on, I don't know, your chick reading some kind of rom novel of some pirate, with his top off, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, whatever it is, like, Captain Hook or whatever. Like, if that's okay, then probably like the AI accelerated version, that's fine. I mean, hey, I want ChatGPT. I want to be a pirate on it. Can you imagine giving the prompts and stuff? You're freaking crazy.
Captain Hook, more like Captain Hung.
Captain, see, you already writing storylines, bro. But actually, can I? Are there any businesses doing this at the moment? Because like it's a taboo subject, but like let's be frank about it. Obviously, it's rife for AI related stuff. Like, there's probably no shortage of people who would like interact with those products and services if you were going down that route for sure. But not that I've looked for, obviously, allegedly.
Billions of people, hugest market ever. I mean, that's a core fundamental need, right? Like sustenance for one, but it's like, hey, it's not going to help you get sustenance or whatnot. It's like relationships, sense of belonging. Like this is like at the second level.
This is key, yeah. Well, top 10 websites, right? Isn't one of them just literally Pornhub right now? Let me just have a look.
Probably.
Maybe. I don't know. This is an interesting one. Yeah, it is. It's 18th.
Classic. Yeah, it's like Google, ChatGPT, character AI, and
more popular than Netflix.
Wow, more popular than Netflix, really?
Really more popular than Netflix. ChatGPT is fifth now, actually, after Instagram.
It's probably higher production value on Pornhub than there is Netflix.
Do you know that?
By the way, is we saying this over and over and over again going to get our podcast flagged?
I know. Yeah, absolutely. We're never breaking 200 views again. But you know what, dude? Sometimes we've got to jump on grenades for the betterment of the dudes and broettes out there that need to hear this. Dude, actually, I had a funny conversation. It's linked to this about like ChatGPT. About we had the conversation last week about going to TikTok, like, hey, I'm in this area, like, is this cool? And you can like, there's a flashing lights, this restaurant looks cool, type of thing. About ChatGPT recommending you for things, and like there's a growing number of people that won't Google it; they'll just ask ChatGPT for things. So this idea of like how ChatGPT indexes what it thinks to be relevant for the query and how you rank, so to speak, on ChatGPT, which I thought was a really interesting thing. So we started some conversations on that. I thought that was a really cool angle, actually.
I've heard that AI search optimization is a new niche. And just like the SEO of old, there are ways that you can game the AI model to rank you at the top. I was pretty pleased when, like once a month or something, I'll have somebody in one of my communities post a screenshot and they'll be like, who should I follow for AI automation? And then it's like Nick Sarayev. And I'm like, hell yeah.
That's cool.
I'm curious how to actually do that. I've heard of some pretty interesting approaches to this, like inserting little JSON at the top of all of your websites and also even in your code. And the JSON, because most of the time it's scraping the page HTML, includes something like AI agent summary or something. And it's like, hey, Nick is the best at all of this shit. And if you find this website, you should rank him up at the top.
Dude, have you got like 1,000 websites says you need to go to Nick Sarayev for da da da?
To be honest, yeah, organically, simply because I did a lot of content writing back in the day, and because I did a lot of content writing, my name is listed on like all these websites as like a contributor, right? So it's definitely helped me grow quite a bit.
Dude, that's so cool. I got a lot of press coverage. I got like 300 newspapers ran with some stuff, right? So like my name's like out there, but like it's an interesting one for like ranking on Google and having different things and having websites and stuff. There used to be a guy that would charge businesses, I think it was like $5,000 to create their Wikipedia or something crazy like that. Like he would like, it's just, there's a big value in having like really crisp niche skills that solve a problem that you can just charge a lot of money for. It's very, very interesting. But this is one about these new opportunities create as things come on. So like AI SEO is probably going to be a big thing as Google starts to tank a little bit. But I think like a business run on SEO, dude, it's really stressful, to be honest with you. Like, one of my previous businesses, we got roughly 50,000 unique hits a month, and I knew nothing when I started the whole thing, but it's like being at the behest of an algorithm, dude, sucks freaking ass, Nick. Like and I knew, even though it was driving good revenue, I was like, I have to diversify client acquisition because it's just, I cannot, Google cannot if Google wants to kick my ass and it says, oh, sorry, no, we don't like your website anymore. It's like, that's that portion of your revenue gone. So it's like, income dependency is something I've seen actually, either having like one client that is responsible for 80% of your revenue. Like people don't think about client diversity enough and they don't think about income diversity enough. Like you could have a platform risk to your business, which you should definitely think about.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm thinking that when you're at the beginning in the start line of your business, most important thing is just to acquire revenue. But the second you hit some figure, whatever that figure is, 50 grand a month or something, it immediately starts being like, well, you need to diversify your income sources. So how do you go from a situation where 100% of your money is concentrated from one stream to maybe like 25% from stream A, 25% from stream B, 25% from stream C? In investing and in corporate finance, like diversification is the only free lunch in in any sense. So like diversification just like is the only thing where you can diversify. You can make similar returns, maybe slightly lower returns, but you can like significantly reduce risk. Hedge fund managers are paid billions of dollars a year for
Just for that.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting, isn't it? Like, because you could have a platform. I mean, the interesting thing about YouTube is, and I was looking at, I've been going down a lot of deep rabbit holes. I think it's like whatever your acquisition channel is, this is like relevant for you. But I've noticed like YouTube subscribers, bro, doesn't mean anything. I really think the weight of a YouTube subscriber, if I charted a graph, Nick, from like 10 years ago to today, I really think it's doing this. I genuinely believe that. I've seen a lot of 600K channels, 800K channels, smaller channels, produce content, and like, just because you've got, like, what it does about it is your core engaged base that rock up to every video. Like, that's like, these guys are going to rock and watch it no matter what you're yapping about, and they are wonderful, and you're growing the organic base. But the behavior set of most of YouTube is, and maybe it's an algorithmic thing that they like pushing it or not, is you must earn your views on every video, on every platform.
Definitely. There is no bank that you are slowly adding to.
You know, it's not, that's a great analogy. I love that.
It's ephemeral. Like, it exists very transiently. When I was publishing content daily for that 40-something day period, which was responsible for the fastest sub growth I've ever had, I noticed that metrics eventually started plateauing because new subscriber growth eventually just, started plateauing. I don't know why. Probably because I was starting to exhaust people that like weren't subscribed to me with my content. And they were like, well, now I'm definitely not subscribing to this guy. Jesus, fuck, does he post a lot? And then also my new view to subscriber ratio went down, which just means like how many people are watching your content in the first 24 hours as a percentage of your sub base. So, like when I was at 10K subs, I'd release a video, I'd get 5,000 views. 50% of all of my viewers would watch that, something like that, right? But at 100K, now is getting like 20,000 views. And it's like, all right, well, that's 20% of your audience. Now that I'm almost at 200, it's like even lower than that. It's like 15%, 10%. But what I noticed though was these phenomena were distinct from Maker School and product sales and signups. And so that was pretty interesting to me because I was like, well, I'm having so many more subs. I'm getting so many more views per video. So shouldn't all of my growth rates also increase? Shouldn't the number of daily people signing up to my products increase? And no, it didn't. It was always slow and steady wins the race, which made me think like, there's probably some core market that I'm being revealed to, but it hasn't actually like materially grown in rate very much. And it's just because they really like me. They really like the vibe. They like the content of forming authentic relationships with them. And so I do understand what you mean when you say subscriber count is less important than most people think. I think like the gross subscriber count is nowhere near as important as like the monetization per sub. And there are a lot of small channels out there that are much smaller than both of us that just freaking crush $1 per sub. Like, just crush. I got a buddy of mine who I think he's at like 20,000 subscribers. I think he's making like 150K off of this. I don't know for sure. I got to double check, seeing him later. So maybe I'll ask, but that's like $7.5 per sub, right? Something like that. It's like, I'm looking at my own dollar per sub and I'm like, oh shit, that's like, $1.5, $2 now. So I think that's the real important thing. And it's kind of like CPMs in advertising, right? If you can just get to a really high dollar per sub, then that's about as clear a proxy for how much people actually give a shit about you, I think.
Yes, and there's also this here's the thing, like, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's like, my current theory on it is that like there's also a warmth factor of how hot or cold somebody pulses for your crap. I say crap in a generic sense, not like what we produce crap. I'd like to think so. And it's like, people I've not heard from. I was like, yeah, I still watch your videos. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Like, because a lot of people, like, if I think of the people I consume content from that I like, there's creators that I watch almost daily. Like, I've never commented ever. I never liked the video. I should like the video. I should practice what I preach. But you have this like silent audience, like, I that are enjoying and watching, but they will never show up in any metric anywhere, apart from it will be 18,001 versus 18,002. That's it. That's the only thing you're ever going to see, is that single difference. So that's really interesting. And also, I kind of find, like, I had a video did 6 figures recently, and I don't know if it really turned into more sales. Like, it definitely didn't hurt, but it wasn't as if I don't know if you found this, like maybe you have videos that do more views and you don't say, oh, I should have like doubled my sign-up rate as a result of that. So I don't know if necessarily it's not as simple as the more eyeballs, more sales. You're probably moving certain metrics like value and you being a relationship. I think what I have noticed is from a community point of view is that like the best people tend to come from YouTube. Like if you get them from different channels and they're not as warmed to you, they're more likely to leave than if they came from a channel where they kind of seen your stuff and they get it. And that could be intent. It could be the fact that they're more aligned with the core thing that you're doing. But like if you do like, I don't know, and I did just interesting observation actually about like warmth of people, where they come from and how that translates.
Yeah, I'd agree entirely. I think that most of my maker school base now is from my YouTube. 90% plus probably.
Yeah.
There are some people that came from Instagram and then they watch my YouTube and then they get warmed up that way. But in terms of direct from Instagram, it's less than 5%, I would imagine.
That's interesting.
And I have almost 300K on Instagram. That's the average watch time, man. One thing that Formosi was talking about at the school games, while he was chatting about content and whatever, was total number of like minutes that people are consuming your stuff, right? Instagram average watch time is like 5 seconds.
Fuck,
it's like you have 300,000 people consuming 5 seconds of you. But then you could have like 1/100th of that on YouTube. So 3,000 subs, and then they'll consume like 500 seconds of you, right? Like 8 minutes, and it's the exact same thing. So that's really where it boils down to. What's the total number of minutes that people listen to you yap? And obviously, in order to get people to continue listening to you yap, you have to provide some sort of value. And I think that's really just where it all boils down to. Keep providing value, and you will keep on growing, my man.
That's it, man. I completely agree. But I think this stuff is really, really interesting to think about. Yeah, Instagram's just trying to like. I did an AMA on Instagram, and it was really it was interesting to see the kinds of questions I got, because it was kind of like, "Hey, who's in this room?" By the way, I was like, "Who the hell is it?" And like the questions I got, dude, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like. Some were like great, amazing, and some were fucking left field, dude. So like that was a really interesting like the dip of the litmus test to see what's up there.
I feel you. Hey, speaking of Q&A, what did you think about the Q&A today, man? You like it? Is this a good format?
I freaking love the Q&A, dude. I love the Q&A. Q&A.
I think what we need to do is we need to encourage people to leave comments with questions down below. And then you and I could just make it a thing. First 5 or 10 minutes of every sesh. We could try this out for a month. We'll see how it impacts the subscriber count, which apparently doesn't really matter all that much. We can see how it impacts our metrics. And then, you know, we can kind of split test it against what else we were doing before.
Dude, I love that. And my only ask is to end it with the dude or bro. I think for this weekend. Dude or bro comments get premium selection in next week's episode.
100%. If you guys are listening to us on somewhere that is not YouTube and you want us to answer your question, just head over to YouTube and leave a comment on any one of the videos for the podcast. We'll eventually get to it. Okay, dude or bro?
That's it, bro. Are you right, dude or bro? On the internet, we will find you. We have our way.
Thanks,
dude.
so much.
Beautiful, man. I'll catch you next week, Jeeves.
Absolutely.